All right, hello. I am the Last Hodler, and I am a software developer, namely a blockchain developer for the UK's leading blockchain company, Online Blockchain. And I just wanted to talk about something that I'm seeing a lot in the cryptocurrency startup sector, particularly, and that is small development teams. It's usually small development teams choosing smart contracts, ERC20 smart contracts based on Ethereum to build their applications and to raise maybe funds for future applications and things like that in the cryptocurrency space. And I wanted to talk about why that is often a bad design choice, especially when they're picking to write full-scale applications on top of the Ethereum blockchain. Okay, so one of the first reasons is that that these small development teams that choose to use ERC20 smart contracts is that they're really easy to implement. Okay, you can copy paste them off the wiki, the Ethereum wiki, and you can have one with its own token that it is ready to sell within 5 minutes. Okay, so what a lot of these development teams choose to do is, okay, we know how we can create a token that we can immediately sell for a bunch of money, and we'll just copy paste it off the Ethereum wiki, and here we are. We have a token and we can sell that, and we haven't really proven that we're capable of doing anything yet. We've just proven that we're able to create this token really quickly, and any promises and ideas that we're sharing with the community might not have any basis to them. They might not have any backing. We might not be technically able to execute something like that. We might not even have the intention to execute something like that. So ERC20 smart contracts are really problematic because you can create this entire system for crowdfunding, a supposed idea that you have no expertise to implement, or maybe even no intention to implement. Okay, so on the other hand, you can create your entire blockchain by forking Bitcoin, for example. It's a lot more difficult to do, okay, and but you have a lot more control over what you're capable of doing after you have created the initial parameters. The problem with smart contracts and tokens based on other platforms is they're really at the mercy of those platforms and what those platforms do next. Okay, so let's take Ethereum, for example. All right, you have Ethereum and you have all these new smart contracts being built on top of Ethereum. Okay, and that causes, let's say, the Ethereum network to slow down, get congested, maybe fees rise, or maybe the Ethereum developers just decide to take Ethereum into a completely new direction. Okay, you're completely at the mercy of what that decision is, whether it's something caused outside of the realms of anybody's control, like congestion or something unexpected like that happens. But if they decide that they're no longer going to support whatever your application needs, or maybe they change the blockchain specifications such that it no longer caters to what your application needs, you're kind of stuck in the water and you have absolutely no way of adapting to a situation like that if you piggyback on a platform like that. So it's really a lot wiser, especially as far as scalability, maintainability are concerned, that you make your own blockchain from, not from scratch. You can fork Bitcoin, of course, and that's what most altcoins are. They're Bitcoin forks, right? Barely any of them are their own blockchains made from scratch. I mean, there are a few examples, but it's very rare, and for good reason. Okay, you have Bitcoin. It's this entire platform developed over many years. It has all of the world's leading cryptocurrency developers working on it, more or less. So you can be sure you have a stable platform to base your applications on, and you can change the parameters whenever you want, because you can set it up such that you're in control of the blockchain. But when you're piggybacking off, let's say, Ethereum or any of these other smart contract platforms that are coming out, smart asset, things like that, there's really no way that you can control and adapt to change if they choose to change the direction of their blockchain. So this is why a lot of people, and the whole attitude of the cryptocurrency space in 2018 compared to, let's say, 2017, is people are shying away from ICOs. They're shying away from going into projects that are based on smart contracts. They're based on other blockchains because of all those scalability issues that I've talked about. So that's why ERC20 contracts can be a bad design choice, and possibly even a bad choice for your investment. And I would be really careful of investing in a project that only has a smart contract set up and a token attached to it and nothing else, because that really isn't a difficult thing to accomplish for a a startup team or a development team. It could be done by one person in one day. And okay, this startup that we're thinking about investing in, maybe they have a beautiful website and a beautiful looking white paper, but you really need to be conscious of what their developers have actually done. And if the only thing that they've done is created a smart contract, and maybe they've done a slightly clever little layer on top and created something like that, you've got to wonder, is this application that they've built, is it going to be able to withstand the test of time if the platform on which it's built decides to go off in another direction? Or it might suffer the limitations of the blockchain that they've based their project on. So really consider what projects you're investing in. Consider what platforms you're going to base your own projects. Is it going to be better for you to make your own blockchain? Yes, that's going to be a lot more difficult. It's going to require your developers to have a broader knowledge of programming concepts and software development concepts. But in the long run, and this is the key thing, it's going to be a lot safer for that project if they're building everything from the ground up. Okay, and I mean by from the ground up, I mean forking from Bitcoin, because you have all this entire system here that's been developed over such a large amount of time and such a large array of different developers that you can trust that the groundwork is there and it's done for you. But you also have that added control of being able to change some of the parameters that you wouldn't be able to change in a smart contract situation, or a situation where you're building on top of an already established set of parameters within another framework.